Hi, I'm Darren Potter with SHIELD Chaplaincy. We're a nonprofit law enforcement chaplaincy that's right here in the Roanoke Valley. We got our start in 2018 after we were serving some local departments here and our eyes were opened to what law enforcement faces on the job. They interact with more trauma than you could ever realize. The general population, they're going to interact with one or two traumatic events in their entire lifetime. But law enforcement officers, on average, will interact with 800 such events. As you imagine, that takes a toll on them, but also their families. Divorce rates are sky high among law enforcement. The life expectancy of law enforcement nationwide is just 57 years. Now think about that for a moment. This means, on average, law enforcement officers, after spending 25, 30 years helping you and me, they'll only receive 18 pension payments before they leave this world. There's got to be something better. We've got to help these men and women some way offload the stress, walk in a way that will help them find fulfillment at home and at work, and that's why we're here. SHIELD Chaplaincy started off serving the Roanoke City Department and the Roanoke County Police Department in 2018. But by 2021, we were able to add a second full-time chaplain, Gareth Stevenson, to the mix. We also added in 2022, everyone's favorite member of the team, Scarlett. She's a certified service and facility dog that we utilize to simply lower the stress and anxiety when we're meeting with officers after traumatic events. And she's even helped with death notifications or child interviews as well. An incredible tool that we were blessed with from a group called Months with a Mission. And then a couple of years later, in 2024, we added SHIELD Chap 3.0, Adam Hughes, to the team. And as we have added these team members, we've been able to expand the number of departments that we serve. We're serving now 7 departments and agencies around the valley, to include all of the police departments, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, and the DEA, among others. Why are we doing this? Because we care and because we have seen that we're making a difference. We offer marriage nights, we offer trauma and workplace stress seminars, parenting workshops, and we're present with officers, doing ride-alongs with them, serving them in any way that we can possibly do. Because we want to help those in any way that we can, because they are serving us so well.
Hi, my name is Gareth Stevenson, and I had the privilege of serving alongside our founding chaplain, Darren Potter, here at SHIELD since 2021. You've heard of just the impact that this career has on our law enforcement officers and their families. A couple of the ways that we help walk with these incredible men and women through their darkest days is that we spend time in their patrol car with them. We call these ride-alongs. In patrol shifts, we sit in their front seat and watch the world through their eyes. We get to build relationships with them, and we get to refer out to mental health professionals when we find that there's things that they truly need to work through. All this just to be able to help and to serve those who serve us all. We respond out to critical incidents. You may have heard of things on the news, any fatality, any officer-involved shooting, anything that's really yucky. Typically, the department calls us to respond to help walk with our incredible heroes in this valley through their darkest days. We provide peer support, provide the ministry of presence, and a listening ear, again, as well as that referral. We do this regionally, and you may have heard of our canine that was killed in the line of duty, Canine Knox. We're able to provide services to that family and the department through this really, really tough time. Not only do we provide services regionally, we've expanded, and across the state, we now provide services for officers and their families that have gone through critical incidents. You may have heard of Smith County. It's a tragedy. One of our heroes, Deputy Hunter Reedy, lost his life defending the community he loved. We were able to go down there for a couple weeks and not only walk with that community, but walk with that department and their family through some of their darkest days. You also may have heard of the Black Hawk and plane crash in Reagan National Airport. SHIELD was called out in a terrible, terrible time to walk with these incredible heroes. They're really dark and unprecedented national fatality incident. We spent several weeks up there working with our local partners, our federal partners, again, providing that ministry of presence, that listening ear, as well as referral out to mental health. One of the things that we have done here locally, just a little bit different, is that we started a ministry of SHIELD called SHIELD Outdoors. What we do is we take our officers that experience so much tragedy, so much pain, and we take them into the outdoors. We let them hunt, let them fish, we let them hike, and just get away and be quiet. A lot of these incidents that I've just listed, we've been able to host their families and their departments at our property in Franklin County called, again, Project Haven. One of the things that we love so much about SHIELD is the officers we serve. We've just listed off several different things. What I want to do is I want to show you from the officer's lens what this looks like on a daily basis.
Hello, my name is Ryan Brady. I'm a police officer with the Roanoke City Police Department in Roanoke, Virginia. Just wanted to take a brief second to explain to you the importance and the help that I've seen SHIELD Chaplaincy provide to not only our agency, but surrounding agencies in the area. First and foremost, SHIELD Chaplaincy tends to provide a unique experience that's, most agencies will have some type of peer support program or an officer wellness program. But what SHIELD Chaplaincy does is they really serve to enhance that process and really get into the lives of officers, really at a personal level, an interpersonal level. And the things that they provide are so unique in the care that it provides to officers. Just the approach that they have is so personal, and you can tell they genuinely care about our officers. I always say in law enforcement that the best ability is availability, and that's really what these guys bring to the table. They are always there. I see them at the police department. I see them at the police academy. I see them on the road with officers. I see them hosting marriage nights for officers. They're just always there to help the officers, help their families, and build really healthy relationships and a healthy lifestyle for police, who oftentimes are dealing with quite a fair amount of trauma, whether it's trauma in their own life, trauma that they're exposed to out on the road. These officers, there's a desperate need for this type of care that SHIELD Chaplaincy provides. Getting to specifics a little bit, they have marriage nights where the chaplains and their wives will sit down with officers and their families and work with them to help build healthy relationships and build healthy approaches to the job. They have a SHIELD Outdoors program that just launched with Project Haven, where they're taking officers on their days off out into nature to connect at an interpersonal level. You have ride-along programs where they're in the cars with officers experiencing that day-to-day trauma with them and helping them work through that and build healthy habits. And then you have the SHIELD Armory podcast for those days where maybe the chaplains can't be in the cars or they're pulled to another agency to help. Our officers can tune in, those late night shifts when they're riding in those police cars, they can tune into the SHIELD Armory podcast. Those officers' wives can listen to the podcast and maybe have a better understanding of what their husbands or wives are dealing with out on the road. And so just in general, if you'd like to give to a charitable donation to a group that is really making a tangible impact in the lives of officers, I would recommend SHIELD Chaplaincy. Because a lot of times when we give charitable contributions, we wonder, does it really go to help the community? Does it help the people we're actually trying to get to with this charitable donation? And SHIELD Chaplaincy, it's a direct impact into the officers' lives, into their wellness, and better prepared officers are better for the community. So you're actually helping the community as a whole as well.
Hey, my name's Adam Hughes, and I am the most recent addition to SHIELD Chaplaincy. I started in August of 2024 after serving the City of Salem Police Department for 4.5 years as a volunteer chaplain. So far, you've heard from Chaplain Potter, Chaplain Stevenson, and now one of our officers we have the great privilege to serve. And one of the things that we all realize is we can't be everywhere all the time. There's a lot of first responders, a lot of officers, and then 3 of us in Scarlet. And so we began brainstorming of ways of how to spend more time with them and to invest directly into them. And in January of 2025, we launched the SHIELD Armory podcast. That is a roughly 1 hour every week opportunity for us to invest in officers, to talk about things such as the job, family, marriage, children, finances, mental health, all these different things to try to help put more tools in their tool belt as they serve in this career of law enforcement. And we would love for you to check that out, to hear a little bit about what happens. You can search on any of the major podcast platforms or on YouTube by searching the SHIELD Armory podcast. As we get ready to wrap this up, we'd like to take a minute or two to ask you to consider partnering with us here at SHIELD Chaplaincy. One of the things that requires a big portion of for us to be able to do is finances, just like many other things. But one of the things that we do that's very different as a nonprofit is we raise all of our own funds to be able to do this and to serve the men and women at these different agencies full time, we have to raise our own support. And so we're constantly looking for partners who would partner with us to help continue to make happen what we are trying to do. That could look as small as something like sponsoring one of the marriage nights that Chaplain Potter talked about, providing finances to help us take care of childcare for the families, take care of food, take care of any of the resources that need to be provided. We need funding for salaries and for more chaplains. There are only 3 of us, and there's just roughly about 850 law enforcement dispatchers and other first responders that we serve. That's a big difference in number. And then when we even have someone right now that we would love to bring on board, but we need the finances to be able to be able to do that. And so we're looking for partners to be able to do that. In the future, we see the needs now, but we even see future needs that are coming. And we would love to provide first response vehicles for all of our chaplains that will be loaded and outfitted with everything that we need to pull onto an emergency scene and serve those men and women and not have to worry about missing something or not having what we need, whether that be coffee, whether that be water, whether that be a table and chairs for them to sit down at, a fan, whatever it might be, all of our peer support materials in order to be used on those scenes. We want to be able to pull up and know that absolutely everything we need is at our disposal to take care of them as best as possible. And so those are just some of the needs that we're looking at. And again, we're looking for people like you to come on board with us. So would you consider that? Would you talk with the people in your circle and say, would this be a way that we can help? Would you share this with someone else and say, hey, is this a way that you could help? Because it would mean the world to us. And again, we continue to see more and more of this as the needs continue to increase and increase and increase in the world that we serve. Lastly, we'd love to invite you to connect with us. You can go to our website, shieldchap.org. Everything we do is there. Our podcast is there. All the information about who we are. There are pictures, there are videos. You can see lots of information there. Find out who we are. You can give directly on our website, and there's different funds that you can give, whether it be Shield Outdoors or to our general fund or whatever. There's different opportunities for you to give. You can also connect with us on social media. You can connect with us on YouTube. You can look up for SHIELD Chaplaincy or SHIELD Chap, and you can connect with us there and you can follow everything. Most importantly, we just want to say thank you for taking the time, for listening to us, for meeting us and hearing our heart. And we look forward to working with you to serve those who serve us all.